Seattle Pandemic Shutdown. Friday night video tour. Gonna go drive around. Maybe I have to roll that up. This is day 64, I guess night 64. Total. Again, voluntary lockdown, then we had the mandatory lockdown. Supposedly we're in phase 1. Washington's doing phases in numbers, other places are doing phases in colors. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. Shouldn't there be, isn't there a unified system for how to stage through a pandemic, reopening, an ending of a sequester? Is this not, I mean, I know we've never done this before, but this is just a continuation of something that is, you can blame the Trump administration specifically for their management of the disaster, but that doesn't negate everything before him and everything that's not his administration. CDC, World Health Organization, etc., etc. Like, I want to call this whole thing grabastical, just because I like the word grabastical. It's like we don't have any of these things figured out. Like, how do we not have these things, unified and straightforward? Why was it all this confused messaging and everything? And that's institutions, organizations, hierarchies, bureaucracies. That's what that is. And potentially, I guess, bureaucratic incompetence is the idea. I mean, bureaucracies. So where are we gonna go? Gonna go downtown? Yes, we'll go downtown. So today, because I know that you watch me religiously, I know you watched my video from earlier today, there was a lot of traffic on the road. A lot more than normal. Commute time was still pretty good, but it was a lot denser than it normally has been. Well, see, I say normally has been. Than during the rest of this pandemic. Or is it a plandemic, am I right? More traffic, which means that we are roughly on schedule for what I said. What did I say? I said 2 weeks ago, I said I give it a week before we start seeing civil disobedience. And we'll see this weekend, because it is beautiful spring weather in Seattle, and people will not be able to, especially after all this, contain their desire to go out. Now, bars and such are still not open, although I think some of them are doing curbside. But, like, people are just going to go out to go out. I mean, they're going to go to the park. I mean, go to the hiking trails. Downtown is still, God, it's so brutal. It's brutal. Here. Be irresponsible. Again. Some Corona crazies? What are we doing? Something crazy? There's nothing going on. Why are you down here? Skaters. Skaters and unicyclists and rollerbladers. Are there roller skaters? Is that still a thing? They own the streets now. It's like that movie Turbo Kid. No, not Turbo Kid. Nowhere's, what was it? It was a show, Daybreakers on Netflix. Everyone like rode skateboards and bikes around. Dorky show. Metro's still open. Going downtown. There's a guy getting some shots. He knows what's up. And park in the middle of his shot. Boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, seems about the same as a month or two ago. Relatively. Got the guards over here at the Nordstrom building, or the Macy's building rather. Right on, bro. Right on, bro. All right, let's go left. Where are we at? Second half? Second and Pike? There seems like there's a few more people out. A few more. I don't know. Like again, I don't know where everybody's going. But again, they don't necessarily have to go anywhere. They just go out because they're tired of being inside. I'm pretty tired of being inside. Downtown. Oops. I guess we're going to Belltown. Going back to normal is gonna be something. I'm not gonna lie. I am gonna miss this because this is, I mean, I can't. Never mind the foot traffic. I mean, the car traffic is just. The lack of car traffic is just something. Like, you just don't drive down here on like a Friday night. You just don't do it. Is there a freak? What's she doing? Looking a little rough, hun. Not gonna lie. Oh. Bed Bath & Beyond is gone. I think that doesn't have anything to do with the coronavirus, though. I think that's just how that played out. Man, downtown again. Recovery. How do you recover from whatever this is? You know, like how do you get people to come back down here? Why would you come down here? What is there down here that you really need or want, and that it's worth paying for parking and dealing with the homeless and all the people and possibly, you know, deadly pathogens that will kill your whole family. I mean, I see people wearing masks, most of them not wearing them correctly. I see other people not wearing masks. I don't know what to tell you. Well, oh, come on. Why do I have red lights in this? Come on. Corona crazies? Corona crazies? People yelling? I know I'd be mad too if there was nothing to do on a Friday night. That's the thing. Oh yeah, this is the intersection where it's at this intersection where I was by a drive-by shooting a couple years ago, by the dog park. People who live here know what I'm talking about. The dog crack park. I'm gonna run you over, but yep. Downtown. Oh man. Rabbit hole. It's like Shorty's? Shorty's is right next to that, right? All these fun bars and clubs, man. Shuttered. Whiskey bar. Oh boy. Yep. Alright. I guess I'll go. Get out of here. Don't know what no turn on red. Seattle's lights are just burst. Had a good talk with a friend tonight, so I kind of maybe went over all my material for the day. Like, we endlessly are gonna autopsy this and argue about it politically, socially, culturally. You know, is the handshake dead? No, the handshake is not dead. The handshake survived the 1918 pandemic, right? The handshake existed before that. It will exist after that. That's dumb. Are people going to be wary of the handshake for a while? Yes, they certainly will. They certainly will. I mean, but think about, never mind the handshake. What about like Disneyland? Like, what about Disney World? What about a rave? I mean, we knew about pandemics and we knew about, you know, the flu, but people still went to raves and concerts and jumped in a mosh pit and get sweated on by other people. You know, what about like jiu-jitsu and UFC and you know, any kind of concert where thousands and thousands of people pack into an arena, sports events and all that. Do you feel comfortable going to one of those yet? Well then, I imagine you're probably not going to feel comfortable shaking hands with somebody. But maybe it goes the other way. How would that go? Shaking hands or concert? Because concert, you don't necessarily touch anybody, but there's still a bunch of people breathing on you and everything around you, breathing on things and touching things. Or shaking someone's hand, maybe a stranger's hand. Maybe that's the threshold. Maybe not shaking a stranger's hand is the first, or your willingness to shake a stranger's hand is an indicator of your own comfort level. Sweetie, you're good. You're good. No? Sweetie, you're jogging, and then there's nothing. God, Seattleites are the worst. Like, there's nothing around. There's nothing here. You can go. Oh my goodness. Well, another area should be jumping, but it's not. How do we get back? How do we get back? Like, I'm trying to think of it in my mind. How do we feel comfortable enough to spend our money doing a thing that we know will expose us to, say, large numbers of people? How do you know when you have... How will our own personal comfort levels change as time goes on? So slowly we will learn, slowly we will forget. Slowly we will forget that we will forget the fear. We will forget the fear that we have now. And we will return to what we think of as normalcy, and then we will just we'll remember this, and it will come up from time to time. You'll occasionally be more frightened of it than other times. Some of us will, be more marked by this for longer. Maybe we were closer to it. Maybe we know somebody who died. Maybe we got it. Maybe the economic issue actually makes people less likely to want to follow this kind of regimen again in the future. If there's the risk of another pandemic, will people say, no, I'm not doing it, I don't care? Will people, is that actually, will it ultimately be worse for pandemic containment? Because people will be cynical about it and not want to repeat this in the future. And again, that's assuming that another thing like this happens in our lifetime. I mean, it could be another 100 years before we have something like this, and it wasn't even as bad as the pandemic, the 1918 pandemic, and they recovered. So again, the economics of recovery has to be a thing, because we've come back from completely annihilated wars. Berlin was bombed into rubble, and now it's a city, and the people live, and they came back. The 1918 pandemic, people got back to what we think of as business as usual, and we were living in it until now, basically. And we come back from it, and it's something like, I think it does come back down to, people will eventually simply be bold enough to do the thing that they want to do. And as they test the waters of what they can do and find that it's safe, then they will become emboldened. And that's actually where we run the risk of, another spike. I understand that. But it's also where we start doing what we need to do to live again. I mean, to live normal lives and go outside and meet with strangers and enjoy a drink, maybe a coffee, maybe a beer, I don't know. Enjoy a drink together with strangers and let the hookers back on the streets and everything. See, there it is. There's an indicator. When you start seeing prostitutes back on the streets. I don't know how it is in other cities. But North Seattle, there was working girls out on those corners during fire season. It looked like there was a forest fire in the city, and they were still out there. Some of them wearing masks and stuff. And so yeah, there's life finds a way. So when the streetwalkers start coming back, but the streetwalkers come back because that's where the Johns go, but the Johns go there because that's where the streetwalkers are. So when the streetwalkers see enough traffic, they will go out and hope to flag down one of the cars, and they're waiting for the traffic to come back to normal. See, I wonder about these things, you know? Like, where did they go? What did they do? It's not really like you could just go to another city. This isn't a city problem. This is a nationwide problem. It's the sex workers. I wonder about that. Did they get Trump bucks? I doubt it. Yeah, and you feel that? You feel the I-5 being beat to pieces? Yeah. It would have been a really great time to repave all these things. Just saying, the last couple of months we could have got a lot of work done, taken a bunch of unemployed people, screened them for the bug, put them to work. Yeah, I know you were a barista, but you're gonna be a flagger now. Could have got a lot of work done. Just saying. I mean, if we're gonna do, civic projects that are basically like tax redistribution schemes, would have been a great time. Missed opportunity. But anyways, I don't know. But no one else does either. I think some people have some idea, and if you can arrange the some ideas around a little bit, I think you can get a somewhat coherent picture going forward. Meat shortages. Here's a pro tip. If you're facing meat shortages, check out the Schwann's delivery. If you've never heard of Schwann's, it's a refrigerated truck that can come to your house and deliver various goodies to you. You can get ice creams and pizzas and garlic bread, but you can also just get whole meats, steaks and chicken, all kinds of stuff. If the store is limiting you or the store is out, it's a good alternative. And you're helping them stay in business too. They provide a good service. Many decades, the Schwann's man has been bringing those goodies. Just a thought, if you're in a pickle. Anyways, I showed you downtown again. I showed you Belltown. I don't know what more to show you without going way out of my way to like Bellevue. Yeah, Friday nights in Seattle are definitely not what they used to be. And we'll compare this again. I want to time capsule these a little bit, and we'll compare them again in like a year. Hell, 6 months, we're back to normal, right? Because all of us are going to get over this thing, and we're going to go back to normal, and everything's going to be fine. This is the kind of thing that I tell myself, and I hopefully tell you, and I just hope I'm right. All right, there's enough from me for one day. Remember, I go out so you don't have